This is the Life Raft ration, used by U.S. Army Air Forces during World War II. It weighs 744 grams, or 1 pound 10.2 ounces, and it contains 2,310 calories. It's packed by Continental Can Company, Incorporated at Chicago, Illinois. This can is 98.5% steel, with a layer coating of gold lacquer, and that's made out of phenol derivatives. It gives water resistance to the can. They also built aircraft parts and various munitions in their factories during World War II. The U.S. manufactured and assembled about 300,000 aircraft for the military slightly before and during World War II. 97,810 of them were bomber aircraft. Here, hold on one sec. Actually, when we pull off that key, this is what was equipped in those life rafts inside aircraft before the Life Raft ration was made. K Rations. And here, this one, U.S. Army Field Ration K Breakfast Unit, packed by American Chicle Company out of Long Island City, New York. One of the 3 top chicle harvesters and chewing gum producers in the U.S. at the time. Wrigley Jr., Beech Nut Packing, and American Chicle. They all made K Rations. So we're definitely going to give this one a look real quick. Yeah, these were expected to feed a down pilot for 6 days. So this is supposed to last a down pilot for 6 days in a raft. I don't think so. It's the totally wrong kind of food out there as well. Chopped ham and eggs. Some Chelsea's. And here's the sundries pack. Biscuits and a fruit bar. The box isn't too bad. It's actually looking pretty good, really. It was autumn 1942. The Research and Development Office of the Quartermaster General was requested by the Transcontinental and Western Air Incorporated, TWA, a major U.S. airline from 1930 to 2001. Anyway, they were requested to create a ration that could be used on life rafts for a time of between 10 and 20 days. It was specified that the ration was to weigh 4 pounds and contain 8,570 calories. Wow, this is in great shape. Look at that. Look, Jack Frost, tablet sugar, 100% pure cane. Sunshine K2 gram. And then this is K1 Defense, made by Nabisco. National Biscuit Company. The long fruit bar. See how that's like longer? That was like a little bit too long. Reduce the length. Cellophane wrapped, pasteurized. That's where you'd get your fiber and the rest of it. Anyway, this ration, again, that was going to replace this and could have been the Life Raft ration instead of what we're about to check out. But it didn't work out because the Army Air Forces, they deemed it less than suitable. And you'll see why in a sec, or well, here. I've never seen one. Look at this nice key. No rust. Coffee product. Dentine chewing gum. Helps keep teeth white. Made of gum base, sugar. You can barely read it. Dextrose, corn syrup, softeners, food color. Natural and artificial flavor. That's a beautiful pack. Get this. What they came up with that was supposed to replace this thing was 1 package of dehydrated beans, 4 cans of dehydrated beef, 1 can of Carter's butter spread, a can of Army Spread cheese and butter, 25-gram packages of soluble coffee, 12 1-ounce briquettes of General Mills cereal, 4 packages of K biscuit, which actually was a total of 8 ounces. It's more than this. 4 flight bars, whatever that is. I've never seen a flight bar or heard of the composition. And then a package of extra dry apricot nuggets. That is what was supposed to be the replacement to this. Dehydrated beans and ground beef? That's thirst-provoking. You can't have that out at sea. There are all sorts of reasons as to why you shouldn't have that as your food if water is critically limited, which it will be if you're in a raft. Like, good luck. There's no guarantee you're going to have a solar sun still in your desalinator kits. Might lose them, you never know. But yeah, this is what is the essentially predecessor or what have you to this life raft ration. And like a 5-man raft, you'd have 9 of these. You know, let's pull off that key. Oh wait, that's right. At this point, it just says candy, gum, and vitamin tablets. That's your first generation. Second generation, also packed by Connell Can, you would have instructions on it. It says, the food in this can will feed 5 or 6 men for 1 day or 1 man for 5 or 6 days. It should be saved for later if fish are caught. Do not open another can until the contents of this can are gone, as candy and vitamin tablets must not get wet. And there's your last generation. You know, no gold lacquer. It is now olive drab green and canned by Charms Company. We're checking out all 3 generations of this ration. Alright, let's give this thing a look. Pull off that key. Lift that tab. It's a nice little hiss. Look at that. It looks like the candy, the Charms candy, has some oxidation, but not a ton. Whoa. You can actually still see color in it. That's pretty uncommon. You don't always see that. A lot of times it's quite dark oxidation to the candy to where it is so dark in color you can't tell what flavor. This here is in excellent shape. Instructions. The contents of this can have been found by tests on rafts at sea to be the best solid food for eating while living on a raft. 1 to 2 packages of candy and 1 vitamin pill should be eaten each day by each man. Chewing the gum will help keep your mouth clean. Okay, here are the vitamins. Yeah, multivitamin. Smells like B vitamins. It probably lost its potency, but they don't smell horrible. The smell and overall essence of the B6 specifically will transfer in its flavor to other components, but this seems well contained. If it were in a really hot climate, it'd be a different story. But this is not like overly oxidized candy. Everything smells great. The vitamins don't smell overly amplified and broken down. Charms candy was chosen for a number of reasons. They were picked as the primary component due to their square cross section, which permitted packaging with a minimum of wasted space. Assorted Charms, founded by Walter W. Reed Jr. in 1912, and originally the company was called Tropical Charms. They're out of Bloomfield, New Jersey. Charms candy tablets, net weight 1 ounce. Ingredients: sugar, natural and artificial flavors, U.S. certified colors, citric acid, and cream of tartar. Even though the label says copyright 1940, this ration was canned in 1943. This one here that doesn't have any instructions on the outside, your first generation. 1,575,000 of those were produced at 48 cents each. Charms were chosen for their cross section, the square cross section of the packaging, which maximized the amount of them that could get put into this can. So look at how much stuff gets fit in here. Beautiful. Look at that. You could boil water in this and you could cook conch. Let's just say you like washed up a shore of an island that has conch or crab or fish, you know, and you could fry fish in there. But so there's that Life Raft ration. Recommended for adoption and standardization May 13th, 1943. So you'd get like 2 packs of charms and a little packet of gum each day, maybe with an extra charm or 2. There's a reason why carbohydrates are the only type of calorie used for this ration. More effective at sustaining life than the K ration. This over here is out of date. You know, this is great for soldiers on the ground, up on the front lines and everything, for when pack weight reduction is essential and you're needing to carry more bullets and less canned food and whatnot. And, you know, it wasn't utilizing a bunch of vital war material, metal, and just for this can, the key, and maybe a little bit of metal here for this coffee. But that's it, right? It was state of the art for the time. But again, it was lacking for a survival ration out at sea, but it was getting used for it. The hard candy holds up more efficiently against brief splashes of seawater than other foods. These hard candies also contain twice the caloric value and its weight and space allocation over the K ration. Here, hold on. Let's put that back. Uh-oh. All right, let's get this out onto a tray. Nice. Okay. Let's go ahead and try and get that out of there without messing up the wrapper too much. There we go. Wow. Such minimal oxidation. Last one I checked out like 5 or 6 years ago looked pretty rough compared to this. This is a well-stored one. Colors all look about the same, but they're not overly dark. There are 10 per pack. Let's see if the cellophane has stuck on there. We'll have to really work at it. Doesn't seem too bad. A lot of times it'll take, well, it's not perfect either. Kind of want to peel it off in a certain order. Oh yeah, it's pretty stuck on there, never mind. It always seems to be the case. The cellophane pretty much happened right away. Here, hold on, never mind. Let's check it out. That is lemon with a nice lemon oil flavor. That is fantastic. There's natural and artificial flavor, but did I say that was lemon? I actually meant lime. That is definitely lime. A prevalent lime oil flavor. Very, that tastes more natural than modern lime. Might have less flavor overall, but it's one of the best hard candies you could ever have. See if when you bite in, it breaks down easily, like crumbles into like a brittly sweet. Oh wow, now it has a lot of lime flavor. It's just bursting with flavor. That is delicious. Delectable little treat from back in the day. 9 of these came to a raft, and these things would be in these rafts that could be ejected from the plane or bomber in case of a crash landing over water. And again, carbohydrate was deemed the best component for the reason of metabolic water. Now, granted, fat provides the most metabolic water out of the 3 calories that are, food calories. There's fat, carbohydrate, and protein. Here, hold on. I'm going to explain why these candies were chosen with chewing gum and vitamins instead of protein and fat and a more comprehensive food, variety, like meat and things that you would think you'd need out there. Why was it hard candies? One sec. We're going to open up 2 packs of these. That's 100 grams of carbohydrates right there, approximately. like give or take a gram. Here, check this out, right? This is 100 grams of protein, pure powdered protein. 400 calories, 4 calories for every gram. This is 100 grams of those Charms candies. Also 400 calories, 4 calories for every gram. And this is a stick of butter, 100 grams, totaling out to 900 calories, 9 calories for every gram. All right, we were talking about metabolic water. Metabolic water, again, is water released into tissues during the metabolism of food, specifically during cellular respiration. That's where water is a byproduct of the oxidation of amino acids, glucose, carbohydrates, and then free fatty acids. Humans are getting only about 8 to 10% of their water needs from metabolic water production. Through cellular respiration, your body is going to produce, for every 100 grams of protein that you consume, look at that, 42 grams of water. Like an ounce and a half of water. Your body is going to produce that as an end product. For every 100 grams of protein, your body produces between 40 and 42 grams of water. Now, how much does your body produce for every 100 grams of these Charms? Between 55 and 60 grams of water. Plus, it does not produce any end product that actually requires water for its excretion. With protein, over here, it's not producing as much water as an end product of metabolism, only 40 to 42 grams instead of 55 to 60. And it's also going to require water to excrete the urea that processes in your liver, various enzymes that process, and your liver turns the ammonia, another end product of the protein, into urea, which is secreted through the bladder and uses water. That's why survival rations are not that high in protein. It requires more water to assimilate. You actually have to urinate part of the end product out. You're not getting any of that with the carbs. Hydrates you better and does not dehydrate you. And as for this stick of butter over here, it's standing up on its own. This, I mean, it provides 9 calories for every gram. Look at that. That's a lot of water. 107 grams of water. Your body's quite the machine. Manages to generate 107 grams of water for every 100 grams of fat that you consume as an end product. So why aren't rations just pure fat, higher in calories, and it produces all this metabolic water? It can pretty much hydrate you while feeding you. You're still going to need water. I mean, they're going to have these Life Raft, rations and also emergency drinking water cans, along with a fishing kit. They'll go after stuff like this. Hungry fish out in the middle of the ocean, you'll have no trouble really catching fish. And that's also going to provide water. So again, why aren't these things pure fat, right? Well, it isn't just because you're going to have this fishing kit. It's because fat is going to cause ketosis. And if that was the only thing, you lost your kit and somehow there weren't any fish out there anyway to catch, maybe you're going through a serious storm for like a straight week. You can't just live off fat. Again, your body will go into ketosis, and that, within 3 days of not getting about 50 grams of carbs a day, even though your body's getting 8 to 10% of its water needs from metabolic water, still need water to survive. This also answers as to why a lot of these little 7 Oceans or a mainstay or Day-Trex or whatever bars, you'll see tons of emergency or survival food bars. They're primarily fat and carbohydrates with a little bit of protein. That's the new thing. But during World War II, this was it. Especially with like no time to whip something up in the middle of World War II urgency for development. This was the food of choice, and that's why. Now, here's the thing. Let's unwrap some charms while we explain this. Ketosis occurs, again, like, if you're not eating, man, that unwrapped so easily. That is awesome. Fresh charms. Ketosis occurs with about 50 grams or less of carbohydrates eaten per day for about 3 days. By day 3, maybe 4, your body's going to change from glucose metabolism over to fat metabolism. Look at this one. Well, actually, that unwrapped halfway decent, and you notice this has charms written on the wrapper. This one doesn't. That's cherry. Look at that. If you end up going into ketosis and you're out on a raft, like really just going into ketosis anyway for those first few days or even weeks, it can pose a high risk for fatigue, insomnia, constipation, headache, nausea. If you're performing physically strenuous activity, you're going to cramp up if you're going into ketosis. You're going to need the carbohydrates, especially if your body's not used to ketosis. Like, let's just say it was the first time you'd ever gone through it. So it doesn't even matter that it has over twice the caloric content per gram fat and like pretty much twice the metabolic water, you know, over a carbohydrate or even more so protein. Doesn't matter, because you can't go into ketosis. And let's just say hypothetically you weren't able to catch fish and you have this high fat ration, you know, or solely fat, even if it's providing extra metabolic water and double the caloric content. And so this ration was carefully planned. You know, that might be orange right there. Here, let's check this out. Oh yeah, that's orange. These are some of the best hard candies you could ever have. And it's just too bad they're kind of uncommon by this point. I wonder what would happen if Charms ended up putting out a limited run of these. Her original formula. Here, let's check out some Wrigley's PK. Philip K. Wrigley took over the company when William Wrigley Jr. passed away in 1932. Look at that. This gum was named after Philip K. In 1942, 4 million kilos of chicle were harvested in the Yucatan Peninsula by the top 3 chicle harvesters and chewing gum manufacturers in America, which was Wrigley, and then Beech Nut Packing, and American Chicle Company. Which American Chicle's the company that really first came up with modern commercial chewing gum. Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna and Thomas Adams. But yeah, the W.M. Wrigley started this company in 1891. Let's see if it bites right in. Here, one sec. No off color or anything. Ooh. Here, this is going to take some finesse to chew and it not turning to brittle. You have to chew very slowly and carefully, and then it forms together. You chew too fast, you don't let the saliva kind of rebind to this old dried up chicle, it'll just turn to brittle. It'll taste weird and bitter. It won't be sweet. Peppermint oil, sugar, no artificial flavors. Chicle's interesting. Look, it doesn't stretch like gum base of modern times. Look at that's it. The chewing gum is going to hold off any kind of feeling of thirst. It'll reduce the sense of thirst. Saliva producing, thirst reducing properties. Gives you something to chew on. It'll reduce stress. An excellent allocation of space and additional carbohydrates. Old Chicle. It was Wrigley that popularized chewing gum more than any other company at the time. Philip K. Wrigley, there was nothing unusual at all about his support for the U.S. during the war. Think about it. He provides chewing gum at cost or just under for these rations. All these different rations, the K ration, this thing, and whatever chewing gum was put into outside of that for some sundries pack or what have you. For all the double mint, juicy fruit, or the Wrigley spearmint gum given to the U.S. for the troops. Instead of being sold in the U.S., and U.S. troops would give that chewing gum away. They'd get in their rations and they'd give it away to people or use it as trade or something. That chewing gum made the rounds. And it was a bunch of free advertising for the company, and it popularized chewing gum even more. Gotta let it sit. You can't bite right into it. When it dries out. I chewed like 95-year-old gum, and it's in better shape than this. It's dried out a little bit. It has to be stored properly. Even this, I mean, there's a little oxygen in the can. Flavor transfer of vitamins. Pyridazine hydrochloride. I don't know if the cellophane was always so dark. I guess so. It's flexible still. It barely broke down. Charms Candies with the 4 survivors of the Gremlins special lived off of May 13th, 1945. Gremlins special, that was a Douglas C-47 Skytrain. They were on a navigation excursion. There were 19 passengers, 5 crew, 22 of them didn't make it. Again, the 4 survivors, they were pretty banged up, like badly injured. Lived off of just charms while they were like in the New Guinea jungle, evading Japanese and natives, the elements, and who knows what else out there, just limping through, right? And only had some charms for 4 days. And they ended up getting rescued, but yeah, they were pretty lucky for them. And not so much these days. U.S. Marines, they call it the curse of the charms. Like, just carrying a pack around is bad luck. You can bite into this pretty easily and it'll break down. Oh, maybe not that one. That's lemon. It's like a much more normal lemon than the first one. First one kind of tasted more like lime. Maybe there is lime flavor. But, I don't know. Oh yeah, that's definitely lemon. That first one really did taste like lime. I'm a little bit confused by that. I always thought there were only 3 flavors. Perhaps there are 4. The charms used for this Life Raft ration initially were going to only be lemon flavored. Actually, April 1946, there was... Like really, it's like they knew they needed to improve upon these survival rations after the war, and this was really just a good stopgap until they came up with something better. And you know what was better than this? Jelly bars. And this thing ended up getting replaced by Food Packet Survival Tropic. Is realistically it. This was rough if you were eating nothing but this, because there's citric acid in there. And that's not good if this is the only thing you're eating. It's traumatic to the mucous membranes of the mouth. It's like sour candy after a while. It'll wear a hole in your tongue. Jeez. There's one that smells like vitamins. Look at that. Here, check this cellophane out. DuPont produced. It's still strong. Flexible. This was a really well stored ration. Super cool. Again, it was typically 9 Life Raft rations to an A3 raft. The rafts were made out of rubber. That was the raft. Look at that thing. It's rigged with a paddle on a square sail. These guys would have crank radio, SCR 578/AN-CRT3 Gibson Girl, with an antenna on a kite string. Look at that. There's a fiberglass kite string. Check this out. Smells like rubber tarp and like an old Army Navy store. An old plastic smell. This bag, waterproof, pretty much anything in it, my guess. Not sure if it could get submerged though. Let's see what kind of packing stuff they filled in there. One heck of a kit here. World War II radio kit. Gibson Girl, as they nicknamed it. Easy enough to remember instead of the code name that they gave that thing. Wow. Let's get this filler out. What is this? Yeah, this wrapped to protect it. Bubble wrap. That's why. Oh, that's so cool. Look at that strobe light. An old signal lamp. M278A balloon for the AN-CRT3 radio. Oh, there are two balloons. Whoa, nice. That is awesome. I am so glad. You know, this smells very particular. Like rubber and like an old farm, actually. Like a... smells like library book paper. Old, like Army Navy store, like in the middle of a farm. Shed. Barn. Smells like a barn and a library and an Army Navy store all at once. Strobe light again, or signal lamp, M308-B. Get your extra bulb in there. Might need it if you're out there for a long time. A balloon fills up. You fill up the balloon, it inflates and lifts up your antenna. Huh. What the heck is that? Antenna assembly, spare roll. Oh, wow. Oh, bummer. Hydrogen generator is busted. Generator M315B. Hydrogen's highly inflammable. Do not smoke near this thing. You can't have flame near it. Like if the gas is caustic and flammable, can't use that thing. There's no way. Look at this. That's your antenna. M357A kite, inflating tubes, part of the generators. Oh wow, everything's here. Oh, there's that. Looks like copper wire. Might not be fiberglass. Maybe it's copper. What's that? That's a huge belt. Hold that on your waist with your radio. Probably straps the radio and then it doesn't come off you. That is wild. Look at that container. Not many of them left's my guess. Most of it probably got used up and junked. The crank is gone, isn't it? I thought that came with it. I might have to keep looking here just to complete this. Huh. This thing would have a crank at the top. That's the only thing it seems to be missing here. And for what this thing ended up costing, you'd think it'd come with that too. Oh well. This is a belt I'll hook onto this thing right here. and your legs go here and here, your thighs. Look at that thing. That's why it's curved like that. You're holding this thing on your lap. And the search continues. I gotta find a crank for this Gibson Girl. One sec. Might take me like another month. Finally found it. We're not gonna activate any of this stuff, the hydrogen element or the balloons. Gonna probably keep them sealed, at least for now. We'll bring this in and read it. I must have just tore off this. That's okay. I can scan it now. That's good. Now let's figure out how to hook this up. I'll bet you it'll take a second. Let's see here. Let's open it up. This unties here. It's still in good shape. It opens up kind of like a tent. And it's already, gosh, the ingenuity behind this and how they were able to come up with this during wartime. Look at that. Kite M357A, part of radio set ANCRT3. Kite assembly instruction. Avoid fouling in water. Yeah, you don't want to get it wet. That makes sense. It'd weigh it down too much and you'd never get it up in the air. Let's see. I just felt some resistance to holding it. Like this would take off real well. Look at that. The balloon here. Might as well. Let's pull off that key. Give this one a look. There's no hiss. Wait a second. Alright, let's see what this is looking like. Oh, geez. Here. Oh, wow, that smells so strange, like ammonia and like a medicine cabinet and rubber. Hold on. Wow. Oh, it's squishy. It's got a nice squish to it. It's in a paper bag. Alright, let's see what this is looking like. Whoa. There it is. That's the balloon. Look how smooth it is. It is so smooth. And there's like a powder on it. Keep it from crackling up. Let's see here. Rubber plug seals hole when needle is withdrawn. This thing would not hold up. There are some like faulty issues with it. It's like it's aged, you know? And that's what happens. Oh, wow. Look at that. You probably could blow air in there. Hold on. Let's do that. One sec. Let me wipe it down. Let's see. Oh, that's not doing anything. It's like putting pressure on my lymph glands. You can't do it. You gotta press it all the way in there so no gas releases. Ooh, that's in there. Yeah, that was all the way in there before. Easier to pull out than to put in. And yeah, this is not something you want to inflate anymore. There are faults to this, like right here. Can you scrape that off? Nope. Oh yeah, this is like, there are fault points. You would not be able to inflate this. See that? weakened parts of the rubber. And nice can. Got dinged up. That could be half of what's going on here for an issue. Remove pin, open for antenna. Antenna lead in. This is the antenna reel. This thing sends a signal through this, through the wire. This is the actual antenna. It's made out of copper. This is from the 50s, this one, and it was copper. It was fiberglass during the war, and these things were used after World War II as well. And there wasn't as much of a shortage of vital war material, copper. And that's what this one is. You'd pull this out, you gotta get the entire antenna out, the whole thing. And then you hook this at the end. And you hook this up. This is if there's a heavy wind. You hook them through this, which I'm gonna refrain from doing that. And then if there's just a lighter wind that's just enough to pull it up, you just hook it through this thing here. Gets the antenna up in the air where it needs to be so it can send out a signal. And this thing, we'll turn it around in a second. It's Morse code. What you do here is you hook this up. We'll just do it if there's a lighter wind where there's just enough wind to do it, and you don't need to use the hydrogen generator and the balloon. That's if there's no wind at all. Look, you just hook this up here. Again, if there's a heavy wind, you don't want it to pull that line and tear it. Then you'd lose your kite. You'd put it through here too. And there's still enough there to let it open up and everything. Again, we're gonna not do that. That hooks onto there, and you would pull this whole thing out, and then once it's fully pulled out, then you hook it onto this right here. See, then your lamp M308B, this again goes around your neck. You don't want to lose it. Don't hook it on to anything else. I mean, you just don't know. Out at sea and there are a bunch of waves, you might lose it. So you got to keep it around your neck. Here's the signal lamp socket. This thing gets powered up by this. This one's missing that handle. Can't turn it. You have automatic signal light. You can turn it to that. Light would turn on here, indicating it's on. Sends the signal through the copper antenna. Copper antenna hooks to the kite and gets it up to where it needs to be, to where a signal is successfully sending out. Again, if you have no wind going on at all, you can't get the kite up, which means you're going to have to use the hydrogen generator and balloon. Look how this thing gets tied up easily. It can't kink because then the signal won't send. It's tricky to use. You have to be trained to use it properly, and you'd have to have the okay to be able to actually operate this thing. So it's just a very basic demonstration and explanation of this fascinating item. To use signal lamp, plug signal lamp in socket, set pointer to signal light, strap unit between legs, turn crank. Note, when signal lamp is used, no radio signals transmitted. Antenna lead in, see the thing that hooks up to it there? Securing cord, ground wire, and here's the Morse code. We'll check out the ground wire in a second. Speed indicator, keep lighted. To operate radio transmitter, install crank, set pointer to 500 kc, raise full length of antenna by kite or balloon, strap unit between legs, attach lead into antenna, let ground wire into water, crank just fast enough to keep speed indicator lighted. Keep cranking, keep speed indicator lighted. To send messages by hand on 500 kc, only set pointer to 500 kc, manual and use key button. Here's the ground line. You drop this into the water. And the crank fits in the back. Just like that. Makes it more compact. Now, let's take this one out of here because there are parts missing. Both of them are broken. Who knows if there are many operational ones left. Look, auto. The radio is off. As you can see, this is radio off, light auto 1, auto 2, and then radio off. Radio on manual, light is off. See, you can't work the light and the radio at the same time. Auto 1, auto 2, various frequencies. You tune it with this. Look at that. Key. Yeah, this thing's non-operational. The inflator tube hooks at the top of this generator. Right here. You open this thing up. I'm not opening it. We're going to keep it sealed. This thing needs to be sealed. Anyway, you hook it up at the top here. It screws into the top. And then what you do, the bottom, it gets a little thinner. You drop that into the water. You open up on both sides. It's a big balloon. That hooks in here, inflates the balloon, lifts up the antenna. That's if you have no wind and you're out there, you gotta send out a signal. There's no wind, nothing like that. It's just still water and you're stuck there and you never know how long that could be going on for. And you need to send that signal out. It might be such an emergency by that point, you're low on water and supplies and it's your only chance. Doesn't work, of course. Again, this one, it has the instructions on the front that were added in 1944. Still packed by Connell can. Pull off that key. And lift that tab. Nice little hiss. Same instructional sheet as before. We'll see if there's anything different with this one. It almost looks like the vitamins are a little bit less oxidized. Check that out. They've lost their potency and effectiveness over time, undoubtedly. These look more oxidized than before. Look how they're darker. The charms, the loose charms, will always be more oxidized. These have gotten to the point where, yeah, they will be like stuck in the wrapper, very likely. Nice. Yeah. The Wrigley's PK looks different. This is the one we just opened. This is the one from before. Look at the size of PK. Look at the print, a little bit different. 1943 on the left, 1944 on the right. Alright, let's get this out onto a tray. Nice. Okay. Let's check out some charms. Let's see if these are in better or worse shape or what. Oh well. I have this feeling that these... Actually, they look pretty good. Never mind. They look great. Here. Alright. Oh yeah, look at all those good charms. There, because that's all I need. It's just, is the cellophane going to be more brittle, stick to the hard candy more, or is it going to come off easily? Cellophane seems more brittle. It sticks to it a little bit more. These are not in quite as good a shape. It's probably cherry. Oh, nice. That is a brilliant cherry flavor. It has, I just want to bite right in. Look at that. It has like no cough syrup undertone to it. It is delectable, truly. Can't imagine what it'd be like after day 10 or something if you weren't catching fish. But gotta figure, when you're on a raft, you can't even cook that fish. You're eating it raw, it's sushi. I mean, that's okay. It's just, gotta chew it and chew it. Man, those guys probably had a bunch of fish caught in their teeth and no dental floss or anything. That must have been rough. Here, hold on one sec. That cellophane gets brittly, and you have to unravel it from the sides. Well, that didn't work out too well. Maybe I should have just... Here. Oh, look at that. Are you gonna get the whole thing? Nice, look at that. And then, see, this is... Well, it's pretty tough. Oh, well. Yeah, it's breaking down a little bit more. Yeah, these were deemed by a conference in 1946, spring of 1946, after these things were going to get phased out and replaced. The main issue was they said they were thirst-provoking, which, even though this will get your saliva glands going, you're just eating all this high citric acid. You know, it contained too much citric acid, like traumatic to the mucous membranes of the mouth, you know, and difficult to unwrap. This one got lighter in color. It's orange. This one formulates into gum better than the last. Like, quickly turns back into gum. You know, the flavor of chicle kind of has a rubber flavor to it. It's similar to rubber. It was planned to get vulcanized. And when it was a failure for that, and they can't make tires out of it, essentially, you know, American Chicle Company, and they're selling off 1-cent pieces of chewing gum. It was a big hit, but look at that gum. It bites in well. It's a better example. Oh, wow. Peppermint oil that will open up your bronchioles and clear your sinuses is soothing. If you had a stomach ache, that peppermint oil would aid in nausea and stomach cramps. And if you didn't have anything else to eat, and that was the last of what you had, and if you ran out of regular fishing bait and you didn't have fish, who knows what would work, you know? But I'd be improvising. Because otherwise, you'd be like Eddie Rickenbacker, day 8, having to catch a seagull that lands on you. Eddie Rickenbacker, or Evie Rickenbacker. Medal of Honor recipient, flying ace of World War I, and serves in World War II. Him and 7 other men were in a downed aircraft over the Pacific. Yeah, these guys were out on a raft for, 23 days, I think. Before they caught that seagull, the only thing they had to eat were 4 oranges. Still smells like a smell transfer of pyridazine hydrochloride, vitamin B6, which is in this. I don't think B12 is made yet, like formulated or, you know, whatever. Like, this would not have B12 in it. It's not in there. But yeah, Eddie Rickenbacker ended up testing out the first food packet survival tropic that was developed, which replaced this. What flavor is that? What is that? Cherry? I guess. Yeah. Anyway, Eddie Rickenbacker. He's like, yeah, survival tropic's pretty good. You don't need cigarettes out there. It's like, he said it was like very thirst provoking. Like, that's going to induce thirst. When it comes down to smokes, when you're out on a raft with all that extra cortisol and adrenaline that's pumping through you. Like, whatever your habits were for that back at home or wherever, it's not going to be the same for what you want or need. You want and need extra food. So he's like, get the smokes out. Maybe a sedative would be good. He's like a sedative would be a good idea for these kids. People start getting weird when they're in rafts. They start freaking out. They start thinking about resources and everything else. And you never know. It could be somebody you knew your whole life. They're going to be completely different out there, let alone these guys that they may have gone through training together. They may or may not have been friends. But you just don't know who you're dealing with once you're out on a raft. And for him to say that a sedative would probably be good, it's like, it makes you wonder. Alright, and we're back with that olive drab green, packed by Charms Company out of Bloomfield, New Jersey. They got the contract over Connell Can. And this thing weighs 698 grams, or 1 pound 8.6 ounces, instead of the 1 pound 10.2, or 744 grams. We're going to find out why it weighs less. Let's see what's up with this thing. No hiss. Uh-oh. There's a bag in this one. Cellophane bag, it's red. Reflective, you can see it at night probably. Same instructions, printed out a little bit different here. Like visually placed a little bit different, but look at that. Oh wow, these are really oxidized, and the vitamins are in a different looking pack. Yeah, this one's definitely different. Look at that. They are very much oxidized. Look at this thing. That is cool. This is a bag to hold your loose components and protect against seawater splash. And if you got a little bit of light, you could probably still see it. Maybe even with your night vision. You know, just like with the naked eye, you could see this. That is fantastic. Huh. So what makes this lighter in weight? How is it 50 grams lighter? I mean, weight reduction in wrapper, perhaps? I mean, you know, just certain things that they did to optimize its weight. Whoa. These have most certainly oxidized, and it almost seems like they're starting to leak. That is beautiful still. They're different looking. They really are. That's your military wrapper for assorted charms. That's the one I'm used to seeing for rations. This thing must be 1945, maybe 1946. Let's see. Loose charms that are severely oxidized. Jeez. My guess is the cellophane's really gonna be stuck on those. Oh, wow. Look at this. Adam's Chiclets in what? I can barely read that wrapper. Here. Look at that. It's like there's a wrapper under, like this one. Look. Here. Oh, please, let me see. Oh, my gosh. 1945. Yeah, that answers it. That's your civilian wrapper. Definitely different from the other two in numerous ways. Adam's Chiclets instead of Wrigley's PK. The double wrapped assorted charms, 1945 instead of 1940. So this thing was canned in 45, maybe 46. All right, let's get this out onto a tray. Nice. Okay. Why not check out some charms? Let's see here. Oh, geez. Here. What is this glaze on the outside of that? It almost seems like some water resistance was added to this wrapper. It is in a thin metal layer, aluminum, instead of that wax paper, gold hue. I feel like just taking one out. Oh, geez, maybe I'll just keep that sealed, because they are just gonna these are not nearly as good a shade. Look at this. Yep. Guess what? I am not even gonna bother. They'll just liquefy. Geez, here, let's just put that back. That's alright. There's nothing's wrong with anything. Should I open up a package? Oh wow, look at that. That answers it. Oh yeah, look at that. Cellophane. Adam's Chiclets. Gum base reformulates quite well though. Nice. Not like too much loss of gum base. The peppermint is pretty strong. Yeah, they give you vitamins. That would most definitely help you process and assimilate, metabolize, what have you, the fish that you're going to catch more efficiently. That's awesome. That's all the packs of charms. They're going to start liquefying within a period of like 3 or 4 years from now. They're going to be in terrible shape. Realistically, the best thing to do is just eat them. I mean, at night, you'll be able to probably see it with reflection from the moon or something. You know, you could have this red that you just kind of can't miss, hopefully. And you're living off charms and raw fish that you're catching. Hopefully there weren't many of them that were allergic to fish. Check this out, right? 39 grams, 45 grams. What's up with this? All right, that olive drab green can, that weighed 39 grams. Look how oxidized and dark those are. What a mess. And this, 45 grams. These were heavier. They actually weighed more. They actually shrunk it. And it's not because it's older or something and degraded or whatever. It's smaller. They shrunk the candy. Made it weigh less. This bag, it's empty already. You know why? Because it's like 2 months later and I ate all the candy. So this was the Life Raft ration of World War II. Here, let's check out another hard candy. That's lemon. Or maybe lime. Maybe it's cherry. It's probably orange. Okay. Action-packed. What an experience. Well, anyway, this is Steve1989. I hope you liked the video, and I'll be coming back at you with something new. Alright, cool. See ya.